this video, I'm going to be going over all the controls in session. There are a lot of different ways you can customize how you play. Like, look at all this stuff. Each setting does have a description. I guess you can read those if you want, but I've got a controller in the corner that's going to show you my inputs as I do them. Gives you a little bit more of an idea of what to do. I'm going to start with a really basic thing, setting your session marker so it's down on the D-pad, and then just push, go somewhere else, wherever you want. And then you press up on the D-pad, you hold it, and it'll bring you right back. The further away from the spawn point you are, the longer you have to hold the button. Just in case you accidentally press the up button and you didn't mean to respawn. You can also change the camera view with your D-pad, so left and right is going to control either like back view or front view, depending on like what you're skating. So if you want to change your camera angle to be able to see this rail a little bit easier, you can do that. To get off your board is triangle or whatever it is on Xbox, the Y button. And then you move around with the sticks. Change camera angle with the right stick, walk around with the left one. Great feature to have. Jump is square or whatever it is on Xbox. I don't play Xbox, so I don't remember what the buttons are. While you're off your board, you can press L1 or left bumper, and you'll be able to get into the object dropper. And you can just navigate through. And then as you can see, all the controls are listed down here, so I don't really think you need me for this. If you press the share button on PS4, select on PS3, or I think back on Xbox, you can get into the replay editor. Control list is down there. I think I'm gonna do a separate video on how to navigate this whole thing. Also, while you're off your board, you can press X to run and square to jump. If you hold X, you'll push slowly with your right foot, and if you tap X, you'll push fast. I'm not gonna push Mongo, so double tap the triggers and then do the exact same thing as you did with X. You just hold square to push slow and then tap it to push fast. If you wanna slow down, you hold circle. You can also do some power slides, so push the sticks inwards to do it backside, and then push them outwards to do it frontside. And it doesn't have to completely stop you. Like you can do it quickly and keep going, or like slow down a little bit and then keep going. Obviously, you'll use the triggers to turn, not the sticks. A little bit of a learning curve, but don't worry, you'll get the hang of it. So right trigger right, left trigger left. Same with the rotations in the air. Now that all the basics are covered, let's get into the customizable settings. Okay, so I turned everything off, turned everything on auto, and did front and back foot. All right, let's start at stance. Regular or goofy. So do you want your left foot forward or your right foot forward? Do you want to skate like this or do you want to skate like this? Personally, I skate regular in real life. That's how it's gonna stay in this. Input mode, front and back foot or left and right foot. So for front and back foot, the right stick is always gonna control the back foot and the left stick is always gonna control the front foot. So for this mode, to do an ollie, you're gonna do right stick down and then left stick up. And then nollie is gonna be left stick up, right stick down. But when you go switch, it's gonna be the exact same thing. Right stick down, left stick up. Fakie ollie will be left stick up, right stick down. Doing a kickflip is almost the exact same thing, except instead of pressing up on the left stick, you're gonna press left. And then same goes for heel flip, except you press right. Almost the same inputs for goofy or switch, but instead of pressing left to do a kickflip, you're gonna press right. Same with heel flip, you press left. Now, for left and right foot, the right stick is always going to control the right foot, and the left stick is always going to control the left foot. Everything I just explained, pretty much, is going to be the exact same for regular. But, if you're skating goofy or switch, you're going to use the left stick down and the right stick up to do an ollie. So the controls kind of reverse. And then to do a kickflip going switch, you're going to do down on the left stick and right on the right stick. Kickflip going regular is going to be down on the right stick, left on the left stick. Body rotation mode. So there's pressure, speed, or timed. Rotation speed is based on how much pressure is applied on the triggers. If you look in the top right corner, you can see the trigger changing colors as I'm applying pressure. So full is going to be like completely blue. Light pressure is going to be a little bit gray. So when you pop a 180, if you put a little bit of pressure, you're going to spin just a little bit. Put a lot of pressure, you're gonna spin quite a bit. It's gonna take a little while to get used to pressure, but once you do, it's not so bad. Personally, I like using the speed mode. So this is gonna be based on how fast you press the trigger down. So if I press it kind of slow after popping, you're gonna spin a little bit. If I press it really fast after popping, you're gonna spin a lot. Just like pressure mode, it's gonna take a little while to get used to, but once you do, it's pretty damn good. Timed is gonna be based on how long it takes for the trigger to be fully pushed down. If you hold the trigger down before you pop, you're gonna spin a lot faster. And if you push it down a little bit late in the air, you're gonna go quite slow. If you don't feel like you're gonna quite make your 180, you can double tap the triggers before you land and do a little revert. Next up is catch mode. So we got manual catch or auto catch. The whole time this has been on auto catch, so every trick has been automatically caught for me. Manual, you actually have to catch it yourself. There's a few different ways you can catch your board. You can press up on the right stick to make the back foot catch, or you can catch it with your left foot if you press down on the left stick. So say for like a varial flip, just press down on the left stick, you'll catch it with your front foot. But if you press up on the left stick, you're gonna land a little bit in a nose manual. And if you're intentionally trying to land at a nose manual, you don't want to press all the way up. Like you don't want it to be completely up like this. You want it to be like halfway. Same goes for the back foot. If you press down on the back foot instead of pressing up to catch, you're gonna land in a little bit of a manual there. And if you're intentionally trying to land a manual, just hold it a little bit down and you'll land in a manual. I love this mode. It's so fun to be able to catch your own tricks. Flip speed mode. So there's input and directional. Input speed is the faster you do the input for a kickflip, the faster it's gonna flip. So if I flick it really quick off here, I'm gonna do a double flip. If I flick it really slow, I'm gonna do single. If I go off here and flick it really quick, I'm gonna do a triple. Now for directional, this is gonna depend on what direction you push the left stick or the right stick, depending on your stance. If you look at the controller at the top, you're gonna notice that instead of doing a completely left input for a kickflip, I'm gonna do more of a diagonal one to get a slower flip. If I do a completely left input, it's gonna spin a lot faster. So diagonal is gonna be a little bit slower, and then completely left is gonna be a lot faster. And if you skate in real life, that mode's gonna make a lot more sense to you because you would know that if you kick a little bit more off to the side, you're gonna get a way faster flip. But I don't know, for now, I like the speed input. Flip continuous mode. So this is in case somebody doesn't wanna use the manual catch. They wanna use auto catch. So this only affects the auto catch. So if you turn this on, and I put this back to auto, to do a double flip, you just hold the direction. You'll just hold it until you're ready to catch it. As soon as you let go, it'll auto catch. The scoop continuous mode is gonna be the exact same thing, except it's gonna affect like pop shove-its or 3 shoves. Okay, I'm gonna do a varial, but I'm gonna hold the varial so that it does a double tray. And then you just let go when you're ready to catch. And if you hold something like a 3 shove, it'll just keep on going until you're ready to catch it. If you're on auto, you don't have to do any extra input to catch, you just let go. Scoop input mode, so small and normal. Small is gonna be like a 1/8 rotation on the right stick, so say for a varial flip, you just do a very small input. And then for a 3 flip, you'll do a quarter turn and it'll do a 3 flip. Normal is gonna be a quarter turn to do a varial flip, which makes a little bit more sense to me. And then a half turn for a 3 flip. Scoop input mode. So this is a lot like the flip speed mode. There's gonna be input speed and arc length. So the board is gonna rotate as fast as you do the scoop input. So if you do a fast input, it's gonna spin a lot faster. And if you do a slow input, it's gonna spin a lot slower. So the point where you don't even land it. An arc length is pretty much this. It's just how big the arc is determines how fast your board flips, rotates. So if I do a really big scooping input, it's gonna spin a lot. Or if I do a really tiny input, it's not gonna go as fast. These are the settings that I use. You can customize this any way you want. The last one is gonna be a little bit interesting. Casual grind mode. I'm gonna demonstrate on this picking table. So say if I'm going for a backside nose blunt, you can see that I was like right on the edge. So doing like a proper backside nose blunt. So if you feel like the grinds are a little bit unforgiving in this game and you wanted to make it really easy, let's do a nose blunt again, but we'll go like all the way over there. As you can tell, I'm nowhere near the edge, but it still let me grind it as if I did a nose blunt. Now, I don't think it's gonna let you grind anywhere. Like that grind wouldn't have made any sense. There's no way that nose slide should have worked. So yeah, it just makes the game really, really easy, but it takes away a lot of the realism. So maybe if somebody's just feeling arcadey and they want to mess around with it, turn that on. If you want to keep it more realistic, keep it off. So that's all the settings that you can change in the game. You can customize this any way you want. Another customizable thing, you can change your camera angle. So far is gonna look like this. Mid looks like this. And I personally like near. Hey, bud. Dog's back again. Hi, King. How you doing here, bud? What's up? As for grinding, in the demo, they were input-based, but in this one, they're a lot more physics-based. So if you hold up on the left stick and do a nose grind, you can actually change it. It's not locked to that specific grind. So if I wanted to do something like a nose grind 180 to 5-0, not really too realistic on a rail, but you can do it. Or like front forward to hurricane, you can do that too. All you gotta do is just use the trigger buttons So to do something like a back tail, you would just do an ollie and then press left on the right stick. And then to get out, you actually have to use the triggers to turn your body. And if you don't turn out of the trick, this is what's gonna happen. You're just gonna land that way. If you wanna do a lip slide, you just push the sticks inward, and then you gotta turn out. Hey, bud. You're pretty much just telling your feet where to go, so you're not really inputting a specific trick. For example, I can still do a back lip by doing the input of a back nose blunt. So if I don't do any input on the right stick and just the left one, I can still do a back lip. If I do the exact same input but go over the rail, I can land in a back over crook. So it's not input based, it's just telling your feet where to go. And then you'll land on the grind as long as it makes sense. And to do flip tricks into the grinds on catch mode, just do the flip trick as normal, and then do the input for the next trick to catch your board. So you can still catch the board by doing like left and right inputs. You can also do early pop out, so if I do this backside nose grind and give a little flick on the right stick, you can early pop out. You can also do higher pop outs, but it's a little bit more complicated to do. Takes a little bit of practice. Is that a flattened water bottle? So while you're holding up on the left stick to do your nose grind, let go very quickly and then go right back, and then do the little flick with the right stick. That's gonna reset your nollie and let you pop out a little bit higher. You can do the same with nose slides, except you have to push right on the right stick to get out. Because if you press up or down, you're gonna do a kickflip or a heel flip out. And you can control getting out regular fakie if you press one of the triggers. Oh, apparently I got a daily challenge. The same thing applies to manuals and nose mails. So do a nose mail, you can low pop out of that. Here's a nose mail with a higher pop. This one's a little bit more challenging because you have to get right back into your balance point. So like a little low pop, and we'll go for a little bit of a higher pop. If you want to do a flip trick out, you do the same thing. So you can do a low pop one. Then you can do a high popped one. And that's pretty much it for the controls. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them. But until next time, this is JL Nightmare, and here's a free Steam code.